So the first thing I went ahead to do is to get my shoulder measurement, which is 18 inches divided by 2, which is 9 inches, plus half inch for sewing allowance. So I went ahead to get the neck width and the neck depth using 3 inches on both sides. I came down by 1 inch for shoulder slant, using my ruler to connect the neck width with the point of the shoulder slant. This will enable the dress to rest properly on your shoulder. We all know our shoulder is not straight, so by doing this, your dress will relax on the shoulder side. So I'm taking my chest line, which is 9 inches. So get your chest line, you divide the bust by 6 inches. Whatever you have, you add 1.5 to it. That will give you how many inches you will come down from the shoulder slant. So I went down by 9 inches, sorry. So I'm just going ahead to take from shoulder to the bust measurement, which is 12 inches. I'll go ahead and connect the points so as to have a straight line. The next, I will be getting the under bust, just making out 2 points so as to have a straight line. Under bust is 16 inches. The waistline, 18.5 inches. I'll connect the points. So the length of this blouse is 24 inches. That 24 inches is actually the length of the basque. The length where we'll be having the triangular shape. That's the highest point. The length of the blouse is 24 inches at the triangular point. I'm just creating a straight line. I'm just marking out the 24 inches just so as to have a straight line. I added 1 inch to that 24, making it 25 inches for sewing allowance. Now I will just connect a straight line from the chest line to meet this shoulder slant. I'll be going in by 0.5 so as to have my armhole curve. So I'm just taking my bust measurement, which is 40 inches, and I will add the sewing allowance, which is 2 inches, so as to connect the bust measurement to the 0.5 we went in at the armhole line. Don't forget, at the armhole you have to take the midpoint of your armhole so as to go in by 0.5, after which you now connect it like so, just the way I'm doing. So under the bust line, I'm going up by 0.5. This will enable, or since we are not, this will just enable the grooves to be fair. You push it up a little bit, gives it like kind of push-up bra. So I'm taking my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 8 inches divided by 2, which is 4 inches, plus 0.5 gives us 4.5. So I took the point and I connect those points to make a straight line. So at this point, we want to take a kind of radius, you can call it circle. At that point, so I have a compass, so I'll be using that to trace out the circle. I'm using my compass right now just to trace out the circle. If you don't have a compass, you can use your tape and mark it out at each, whatever you have from the under bust, you just mark it right, just the way I did so. So at the bust line, I went up by 1.5 inches. at that same point I went up by 1.5 inches, I'll be going inward by 0.75. This will give us the space between our boobs, our bust. We all know our breast, our boobs, our breasts, they are not together, so they are separate. That in between of our boobs, we are creating that on the dress. So after connecting that, I will make a straight line to go down to meet the underbust, just the way I'm doing. So now, guys, you can see where I'm pointing at. At that point that we have created the distance from our boobs, I will connect that point to meet the underbust. So on the side, we know that the boobs is fuller on the side. So I'm going out by 1 inch. You can see, guys, and when I went out by 1 inch under the chest line, I'll be coming down by 0.5. I will make a straight line at that point. So guys, at that point I will connect that measurement to meet at the underbust. I'm sorry, I thought I was recording this, but when I watched, I now realized that my camera went off. So I've already done it, and before I realized that it wasn't recording. So guys, what I just did was just to connect the circle round to meet at the extensions that we had. That is basically what I did. So at the upper part where I'm pointing right now, I took 1 inch on both sides, but on the downside I took 1.5 on both sides. I took 1.5 down, while I took 1 inch up. So I'm connecting that, the one on the downside, on the lower side, I'm just connecting the point to have a straight line. Guys, we're done with this cutting out the corset. What we need to do right now is to input our bust measurement. The bust measurement is 40 inches divided by 4, which gives us 10, plus 2 inches for sewing allowance. Then on the underbust, it is 36 inches. When you divide 36 inches by 4, you will have 9 inches. So I'm adding that 3 inches. If you guys remember, we took 1.5 on both sides. So I'm adding it back, plus 2 inches for sewing allowance. If you don't want to add your sewing allowance to your pattern, that's fine. It all depends on you, but I like adding my sewing allowance. So most times I do forget that I'm supposed to add sewing allowance, so I just put all the measurements I need on my pattern. I know I'm just cutting out, I don't need to add any other measurement. I'm done with my measurement on the pattern. That is the way I call, so that I know I'm done. I don't need to start thinking, have I added it or I have not added it. So I just do that on my pattern paper, and that is it, guys. So we are just trying to input the measurement. The waist is 39, divide by 4, then we'll add the 3 inches that we are going to cut out, plus the sewing allowance 2 inches. After which you go ahead and connect the points, guys. It's just as simple. The only difference, this is just a basic body pattern. The only difference here, what makes this quite different from the basic pattern, is that we are constructing the radius, which is the bust. We are just constructing the radius. That is it, guys. There is no difference from this corset and that of the basic pattern bodies. So after that, guys, we're done. There is no much on corset. Just cut it out, cut out all your patterns. Guys, watch the sides I'm cutting out. Remember, this is on fold. It is on fold. This is on fold. So by the time you want to fold your fabric, remember it's going to be two fabric which is going to be on fold. So guys, I'm just tracing out the corset, trying to cut out all I have marked out. So this is the yoke. I will be attaching yoke to this dress, so I'll be making use of the yoke. Here is the cup. So I've gone ahead to label it. Make sure you label it the way you want, so I don't get confused. So guys, I'm trying to mark out the triangle I was telling you guys. The front will be kind of a triangular form. So at the waistline, if you watch guys, at the waistline, I didn't cut it directly right from the waistline. I went down by ½ inch and I connect it straight to meet at the 24 inches, which means I will cut at around 24.5 inches. But at the waistline, I went down by ½ inches, guys. So it's easy, it's simple, it's not that difficult. So we want to cut the back. If you want to cut the back, I still went ahead to do the same thing, basically getting the shoulder, which is 9 inches. 18 inches divided by 2 gives us 9 inches plus ½ inch for sewing allowance, which is 9.5. I went down by 1 inches for the shoulder slant, getting my neck width, which is 3 inches. I will connect the shoulder slant to the neck width. So at this point, I will be doing the same thing, going down by 9 inches just to get the chest line. At the same time, we'll use that chest line to construct our armhole line, our armhole. I will just extend that line. Basically from shoulder to bust line, which is 12 inches, from shoulder to under bust 16 inches, from shoulder to waistline, remember guys, I said 19 inches plus ½ inch for sewing. The back, guys, if you watch closely, you see that the back is shorter. The back is, I'm leaving it at the waist measurement, which is 19 inches. I'm just repeating what I did at the front, but the difference from the back armhole and the front armhole is just that we will go in by 0.5 if it's the front, while the back you don't go in, we just get the midpoint and connect it to the chest line. I'll be getting my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 8 inches divided by 2 is 4, plus ½ inch for sewing, which will give us 4.5 inches. Connect the point and make a straight line. I'm just trying to show you guys that what we have here is just a half length, which is 19 inches. I'll be adding 1 inch for sewing. What we have is just a half length. I'm adding 1 inch for sewing allowance. So for us to get the dart, I went ½ inch on both sides at the waistline. So I will connect like so, just the way you see me do. So guys, I'll be going down by 3 inches also for the neck depth. So I'll be using a loop for the back. So I took away 1.5 inches. If you like, you can take away 2 inches depending on how you want the back to be wide, how wide you want it. So I'll be taking out 1.5 inches away from the back. That is not the zip allowance, guys. I'll be cutting out that particular side that I marked out 1.5. So at this point, the yoke at the back will be V kind of neck at the back, and it's going to be deep at the yoke. So at that point, I'm just showing us where I'll be marking out. I'll still be taking my measurement right from the base. I'm not taking the measurement on that side I'll be cutting out. I'll be taking my measurement. You see that side, the point I'm pointing right now, I'll be taking my measurement. I'll be imputing my measurement right from that line. I went ahead to take my bust measurement, my under bust measurement, input it, and added 2 inches for sewing allowance. Guys, I'm saying it again. I didn't take the measurement from the second line, which is the one I just drew now. I took the measurement right from the first one behind the second one, if I'm making sense. Actually, I don't know if I'm making sense. So I'm going ahead to cut it out. So that's the point I say I'll be cutting out. I'll be using loop for the back. That's that particular portion I said I'll be cutting out. I'll be using loop. So I'll be adding another fabric behind it so as to cover my back. So I'll be attaching the loop and kind of loop behind it. That is the yoke for the back, and that is the back of the blouse. So guys, I've gone ahead to cut it out on the fabric, everything I need, the lace, the lining, everything. Don't forget to turn on your bell notification to get notified when I upload this video. I'll be showing how I made everything, the sewing. Guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel, like, leave your comments, leave me a comment, leave any question. I will gladly reply you. Thank you. Bye bye.